Programang ito ay rated SPG. Striktong patnubay at gabay ng magulang ang kailangan. Maaaring may masiselang tema, lengguwahe, karahasan, sexual, horror o droga na hindi angkop sa mga bata.
Island of the Dolls, a trip down to Mexico City's Aztec canals. Mexico City ancient waterways fed the Aztecs. Now they're helping to rebuild the cities after the earthquake with a special spooky tours. Susana Reed takes a ride, courtesy of independent.co.uk. The sky darkened from a bright blue to a deep blue-black as the sun set to a horizon that couldn't be seen from the canals of Xochimilco, a man-made waterways that snake around the south of Mexico City. As the waters dimmed and a sunset mist appeared above the surface, the atmosphere seemed to change from fun. At the weekend, the brightly painted trajinera boats are panicked with revelers, listening to mariachis and sipping to spicy micheladas, to something more mystical full of whispered secrets. There are ghosts around these waters, you know, Tino told me as if reading my mind. Ghosts and dead people and Nahuales, he continued, people who have taken on animal form, often to perform magic or inflict harm. I have seen black jaguar-like form pass under my boat, jump onto the banks and disappear into the trees, Tino said, describing how a Nahual interacts with the human world. Trajinera boats ply the waters in the Xochimilco canals. In 5 decades as trajinero, steering boats through these canals built by his distant ancestors, he had seen many underworldly things, he said. For believers in the all things occult, it wouldn't be surprising that the waterways as old as Xochimilco, man-made in Mesoamerican times, could be home to spirits. The Mexica, more commonly known as Aztec, grew almost third of the food needed to feed the city of Tenochtitlan, upon which modern-day Mexico City now stands. On these indigenous design banks of fertile soil called chinampas. Nowadays, flowers are grown here at this time of the year. The banks are set back from the water are full of Cempasúchil, marigold flowers associated with the Day of the Dead. These pungent, bright orange flowers spice the air with their immediate recognizable sharp scent, so recognizable that they are placed on the altars to help guide the dead home during the first days of November. Ghost stories abound on these waters known as the floating gardens of Mexico City. And around the dead, the tales are told to visitors who are brave enough to traverse the canals by candlelight. Tales of La Llorona, a woman who can be heard searching and crying out for her children in the night, and other stories of eerie sightings that have no clear explanation, are shared as the boat is guided through the pitch-black canals. This year, part of the money for this 250 peso, 10 euro tour on 31 of October will go to help the relief efforts in San Gregorio, a nearby neighborhood affected by the earthquake that struck central Mexico on September 19. What's more, the first 20 to take the nighttime tour will get a visit to Xochimilco's most notorious location, the Island of the Dolls. Islas de las Muñecas is one of the most notorious places in Mexico City. Of course, there is La Islas de las Muñecas, Tino continued, goosebumps immediately rising on my arms. La Islas de las Muñecas, Island of the Dolls, is an area of the bank on the canals where dolls swing eerily from the trees. Myths about the island legend says that a young girl drowned there, the man who found her later finding a doll floating where the girl had been. Out of respect, he strangled up to a tree, but despite his act of reverence, he felt haunted by the spirit of the girl and began to hang more and more dolls to the freezer. There are hundreds of dolls there today, many of which have severed limbs or are decapitated or mutilated in some way. The effect of these lifeless figures swaying in the breeze is understandably macabre, and unsettling stories are plentiful. Island of the Dolls looking into Xochimilco Canal. One day I took 3 girls to the island, said Tino, explaining that 2 of the girls wanted to go but the other, who claimed to be psychic, was reluctant. Encouraged by her friends, she gave in and they headed to the island. Tino moored the boat and the girls jumped off to check out the dolls. About 5 minutes later, the girls came running back. The one girl who had not wanted to come to the island was crying. Between her sobs, she screamed that the doll was laughing. Tino told me as I searched the dark banks for any signs of movement. So I said I would go up to the island, continued Tino. I was going to check it out to make them feel better, tell them they were wrong. But when I got into the island, I could hear the sound of laughter too. There was a doll dressed as a rabbit and it was laughing. I promise you, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He stared at me directly, leaving me in no doubt about his story. Let's just hope that the ghosts are as altruistic as the passengers this year. The doll hangs on a fence on the Island of the Dolls in Xochimilco. Travel essentials. Getting there, British Airways flies to Mexico City from €577. Staying there. More information.